Everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So today, I don't know, I wanted to change it up from what I said, but now I'm deciding. So the topic I had picked for today was just what does it mean to be in state of love? And talk about suffering, the word suffering a little bit. But I don't know when I posted the one yesterday, which was about, don't ask why, leave the whys out. That was a good topic as well. So I don't know, which one do you guys want? All in favor of why? Raise your hands, I guess. Or if you want to just do the love, state of love, uh, let me know. State of love? All right. So first, let's start with the word suffering. So suffering, I think, from what I've gathered from my experience with clients and just my own life, again, all the words we use, they have energy. They have a meaning for us and we connect to it with that energy. And suffering, just like everything else, it's been passed down from generation to generation. And religion has a lot to do with it as well. That's why suffering is a must, a need in your life, and that everybody in this physical form is going to go through suffering. Now, the energy we've given the word suffering, though, it's sort of, if you put it in that good and bad, we've given it a bad energy to it, that suffering is anything that's like hard and, gut-wrenching and challenging and comes to just turn you upside down and everything. We've labeled that as suffering. And then with that label, we've given it a bad energy that's supposed to be, it's supposed to be that way. But if we change our definition for suffering and maybe even use a different word, either definition for it, use a different word, or even change the energy of it, that suffering is not bad. Just like, when you say vulture, everybody's like, ew, most people. Now, not the unicorns anymore, but most people put vultures like, oh my God, vultures, what an ugly animal, How can you love a vulture? And, vulture does this. But they're amazingly beautiful. If you let go of the energy people have given vultures, vultures are animals that have been praised over the years. They clean the environment. They're really magical beings. And when even like they're flying and their wingspan is amazing. They're as amazingly beautiful as an eagle and a hawk. So now take that concept and put it towards suffering. And suffering is just another word to tell you that as you come into these physical forms, you are going to be going through challenges. It's not even challenge, you're going to be going through life, growing pains, let's call them. As you are, as a baby and as you're growing into toddler and even teenage years, they have growing pains. They have actual physical growing pains. We had them when we were growing. So just as that physical form is shifting and adjusting to its new home and the home is expanding, so is us as we come into this physical form. Even our energy, our learning, and how we experience life is growing and expanding. So there is going to be, whatever you want to call it, learning lessons, growing pains, whatever that is, in order for you to finally get into your adult form, let's say. So that's the shift in view for suffering. Questions, comments so far? No? All right. So with that now, if you've changed that term and know that that is a part of life. Now with love, everybody, most people, not everybody, when they say love, they look at it as emotion that, you know, then when you say love, immediately there is a dislike, like there's an opposite of it, that there's hate or dislike or not like it. So there's a shift for love as well, to that it's a state of being and it's not an emotion, just like the other ones that is fleeting sort of. The emotions come up and you feel them and then they leave at some point. Another emotion comes up, you feel it and it leaves at some point. And you may experience that emotion over again in different ways, like sadness, fear, anxiety, you know, any other emotion, anger. But love is, if when you look at it as a state of being, just like pieces, then that takes, when you look at it from that lens, everything, you're inviting everything into that state of being. Even your sadness, you're inviting it in. Your fear, you're inviting it in. Your anger, your anxiety, you're inviting it in. Even the people in your life that, you know, I call them so-called villains of your stories, that they've done you wrong or they've been part of your story, those people actually, to me, they're a source of bigger love and gratitude, because they're the ones that truly help us move and shift and find ourselves. They're the best mirrors, because they're the ones that take all those triggers that are hiding in there and bringing it out in front of your face and say, hey, you've got this. Hey, you've got this. You need to shift. You need to move. So when you come at it from that perspective, that it's a state of love and invite everything into it, then you can shift and see everything as a gift, everything as part of, either part of that growing pain, part of an experience, part of your life, and everything flows into that state of love. Questions, comments? No? All right. Yeah, go ahead.
I was trying to unmute. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I actually really appreciated you. I feel like you brought this idea up kind of in a smaller form in some discussion that we were having, and I don't remember exactly when, but I was going to say this idea, just so that you guys know, the reason I'm in Missouri is my mom is really sick and in the hospital, and she's basically half in, half out right now. So she's in the process of deciding if she's going to stay or not. And just this idea of being able to be here and experience this, like, it clicked with me. I found the state in the same place as when you say being still, when you're in that moment where you're connected to the universe. There is no, actually the why thing comes up, right? There is no why, there is, and it is. And being able to be in that headspace in the presence of my mom has been probably the biggest gift that I've received. It is something I never thought I would experience, honestly, like with either of my parents. So you just really, I don't know, this touches something really deep to me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm sending you love. And I'm so happy that you're in this space. And this space really is, it is like you're holding presence for yourself and everything else and everything in life. Because it's when you're looking for grounding, even, this is a place where you can ground yourself, because it's flowing, it's moving, and everything that comes into this space is okay. It's part of this space already. It's not outside of it. And even if emotions come up, like I said, when, like, I'm sure there's sadness in there for you. But even when you bring that sadness into this state of love, into this state of being, even that sadness becomes beautiful, becomes magical, becomes like, yeah, I appreciate even this sadness because it's part of this existence that just is, that state of being that just is. So everything can be brought into this space and appreciate it and be grateful for it and enjoy it even. Doesn't matter. And all those labels, then actually now how the suffering fits into this, that label goes away. The good and bad label goes away because there is nothing else but love. It's just love. If we can communicate better, even with, I think that the state of love comes into our physical forms as well. When we communicate through that's, even physically, we bring our body into that state of love and love it and everything that's there. Most of you, again, I think I've done the love exercise with you, that you say, I love my eyes. I'm so happy I can see all those things. And I love my ears. And you go through your body and do your love routine. Physically, too, we can bring our physical form, no matter what we're experiencing, what kind of ailments, physical pain, joint pain, whatever that is, even that, bring it into that state of love and appreciate it, love on it. Not go toward the fear of, oh my God, there's something wrong, I'm gonna die. So point that I wanted to make with what you were saying is that there's expectation that goes with the suffering too, because throughout our lifetime, throughout history, throughout what religion has told us, and this is in every religion that you touch, we've been told that actually suffering is good, because you need that suffering in order to release somehow, and that suffering sort of makes you worthy of that good that you're going to receive. The suffering is expected, and there are situations that you're expected to play that suffering in a certain way. For example, if you go to a funeral, there's an expectation of you displaying that suffering. And so sort of we conform to that display of how we want to present that suffering as well. Whereas I can suffer and my suffering may not look the same as yours. My sadness may not look as yours. So, and take that with also that expectation of that suffering. You need it, you must have it, and you must go through it in order to be worthy of receiving the goodness, worthy of going into heaven. Some of you, I think, have heard my grandmother. She used to believe in that wholeheartedly, like, because the religion mentality that she followed is that if she laughed too much, if she was happy too much, if she had joy in her life too much, she was going to be punished for it. So if she had any amount of laughter, joy, and happiness, she needed to balance it out with some sort of suffering. So And I was like baffled as a kid, because she would come and we would watch, and she loved to laugh. She had the most beautiful laugh. And we would put these movies that she enjoyed and we would laugh. And she would tell jokes and she would laugh. And immediately after that time, she had these sermons that they would talk about suffering. So she would put on her sermon tapes so that she would cry for the same amount, maybe a little bit more, for the time that she had cried. And that was her balance. And it was just like, I was like, what the, but that's what I was taught as well, that, and everybody around me, they believe the same way. Even now, you talk to a lot of people, they say, oh, don't share your joy, don't share your laughter, because if you put it out there, then somebody might do something to you and you might get, they jinx it or something. That's all goes back to that, we need to protect this, and there's certain expectations that goes along with it. So yeah, love is just a state of being. There's no emotion attached to it. It's just a flow of energy, and truly, the more you flow it to anything and everything around you, it just expands and moves, and that's space gets bigger and bigger.
And can I say that since you mentioned that most of us have done like the inner child work with you at some point, it's I think one time you said to me, because we were talking about my mom actually a lot in our sessions, so she was kind of like, you're the mom, like your higher self is right, like responsible for caring for all and loving all of these children. And I think personally, learning to hear my kind motherly voice inside is what brought me to this moment where I'm able to do that, not just for me, but for my folks, for my parents and their struggles, and to those around me. Like, I feel like it was finding my inner voice that allowed me to feel this outward expression, and feeling the sun kiss my face and the wind hug me, and all that stuff that is real. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, I love what you said. Yes, it goes back to connecting with that motherly energy, which is the Mother Earth. So I always say, if you want to connect to another form of receiving love, look at Mother Earth, Father Sky. If you look at that, that's my mom and dad, and I'm connected to that as well. And there's truly so much love in that concept of earth and sky and everything around us. And then bring that into yourself, and you can show your love for yourself in that same way, that how the universe loves me, or Mother Earth loves me, or if I'm my own mom, how would I love myself? And then when you bring it internally first, then it's easier to take it out to everybody else and everything else around you. So that was a great point. Thank you.